Hi quilters, I'm Pam Heller, AccuQuilt's cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert.
Welcome to our sew along today. You have been asking for one and we delivered. We'll be making the Go Row House Runner, and today we'll be kicking off the sew along series by giving you the basics of everything you're going to need to know to create this amazing table runner.
That's right. Now in this introduction, we're going to go over the supplies that you need to make the runner.
Yes.
The fabric requirements, we're going to talk about the different sizes of cubes that you could use, some ideas for personalizing your project, colorways, of course, that ties in with picking your fabric because we all love our fabric, right?
Right. But first thing is, what is a sew along?
Yes.
So if you've never done one before, a sew along is when a group of quilters all work together on the same project at the same time. This could be done by a group of friends or your quilting guild or really any group. So it's you and me and Erica and the rest
all
of
us. And we can't wait. It's really exciting to think about us all making a project together.
Right.
We've wanted to do this for so long.
We have. So part of the fun of sewing of a sew along is seeing what your fellow quilters are dreaming up.
Yes.
The blog today shows all of the fabrics that we've picked, and we'll be posting more on social media as we go, and hope you will as too.
That's right.
So Eric and I have completely different colorways of fabric.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes.
That's right. And we want to see what fabrics you choose for this runner since you get to see ours. So be sure you post your pictures on Instagram and Facebook using the hashtag AQSews. And be sure to follow that hashtag as well so that we can see everyone's progress.
Right.
We can't wait to see your projects come to life.
And we've already posted this morning pictures of the fabric that we're going to use.
But don't stop watching to go look at them. We're going to show you in the show anyway.
All right, so let's get started with our introduction show.
All right, now after the introduction to the Go Row House Runner today, the next 3 Fridays, starting this Friday at 12 noon Central Time, we will meet back here live to make our projects together.
And normally I sew in my jammies. I will not be wearing jammies.
No, we won't wear our jammies, but we probably will be sitting here. The set's going to look different.
It's going to be so different.
We're going to have sewing machines.
Yep, the guys are going to fix it. All right, now, but don't worry if you can't watch us live.
That's right.
The shows will be available for you to watch and sew along anytime. So if you're working during the day and you want to watch them at night, you can. Also, we'll have all the information in our blog. So let's get started with the Sew Along series introduction. The first thing you know is that you're going to need to create the Row House Runner, which is right here.
That's right. So you'll want to gather up your sewing supplies and join us to cut and sew this great project together starting Friday.
That's right. So here's a basic list of sewing supplies you want to have handy. Now, depending on which size cube you choose, you can use any of our Go fabric cutters.
Right.
You need a Go mix and match cube and a cutting mat, because what happens without a mat?
Absolutely nothing.
And we'll talk more about this in just a minute. You're going to need a various sizes of strip dies depending on what size cube you use.
Right.
The free downloadable pattern, and we'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
That's right.
You need to have your sewing machine, your thread, your bobbin, and scissors. And Erica, I always wind extra bobbins when I'm starting a project.
Always good too. Or if you're like me and you lean towards pre-wound bobbins, make sure you've got enough.
You also want to have an ironing board or a pressing mat and an iron. We have those pressing mats and irons on our website.
Yes, we all have our favorites that we like to use.
We do. And we're going to do a little sub-cutting, which is kind of a cool technique.
Yes.
So you're going to need a rotary cutting mat, a rotary cutter, and a quilting ruler.
Right.
And snacks.
Sewing isn't sewing without snacks.
Right. So are you bringing snacks?
I am bringing snacks on Friday.
What are you bringing?
I'm going to bring ginger snap bars. But,
you'll all want to be here.
Everybody has their favorite sewing snack. Like I keep a box of Junior Mints in my top drawer next to my sewing table.
When I was making videos with Eleanor last week, she told the funny story, and you have a similar story. She loves Cheetos, but you cannot eat Cheetos while you sew because your little fingers get orange. So she has tweezers that she grabs them out of the bag and she eats them. But you use chopsticks.
Right, our family uses chopsticks.
for the same reason.
Yes.
Okay. So whatever snacks, and I feel like once you show us your project, your fabric, you should
Next
take
up, we need to
pictures.
see your snacks. M&Ms are a popular one too.
They
You
are.
know, that's why you have this,
Right.
you know, this little
Yeah.
opening here was
Yeah.
to keep your M&Ms.
Yeah. All right.
Just saying.
Okay.
All right. Now, for this project, Pam and I are both going to be using the 12-inch mix and match cube.
Right.
Okay. Making this bed runner with that 12-inch mix and match cube is going to create the bed runner. It's going to finish at 83.5 inches by 21.5 inches. So that's what you're seeing in front of us on the table. That's why we're calling it a bed runner. Now, for Lynn Gibney's table, this would be a table runner. I
It
think.
would, because it's large. And here's a fun thought. I already know what bed I'm going to put it on.
Yes.
And I think I have to buy a new bedspread to match the bed runner.
You know, I've come to the conclusion that beds need like solid white bedspreads because then you can put a quilt on top of it
There you
and
go.
change out your quilt on top. You can pull it back at night, you know, so that you're not getting it mussed up or whatever, or too much fur on it in my case. But then you can
Things to
put
think about.
any bed runner that you want then across
like
the
that.
bottom of it.
All right, so one of the wonderful things about our cube system is that we have 7 different sizes. Each have the same 8 shapes, they just finished to different size blocks. So if you don't have or don't want to use the 12-inch size,
Right.
we have information for you on how to make this project in every size cube.
That's right. So we created the new pattern instructions
Erica did.
for this runner based on all the different size cubes from 4 up to 12.
Right.
Which you can download for free on AccuQuilt's website. Now it's linked for you in today's blog post as well, and that talks all about the Sew Along series. When you go to download the pattern, you just need to select the version that you plan to make, or more than one. It's that simple.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. So here is a finished example of the 12-inch cube version as a bed runner. Now, let's talk about some of the reasons that we chose this pattern.
Right.
First of all, this pattern is going to allow us the chance to work on some basic quilting skills, like how to create flying geese, how to do subcutting, and more. And when we talk about we're going to do this start to finish, we're going to do the whole thing.
We are. We are. The pattern is something that beginners can enjoy as much as veteran quilters. And really, besides giving you the flexibility to make 7 different size projects, we've also got ideas for you to change things up a little bit, different ways to really personalize the project and really make it your own.
Now, quilters, we usually have a special offer available for each show, and our Sew Along series is no exception.
That's right. We've got plenty of great deals on our website, so check AccuQuilt.com/party to see our current offers.
All right, so don't forget, using different sizes of cubes will create different sized runners. And Eric and I put together some sample blocks to give you an idea about sizing.
That's right. So we're going to take a look at the basic unit, which is the house, in different sizes to give you an idea. So I started with the 4.
Okay, I know we're supposed to make it in 12, but I have to say that is stinking
it's
cute.
so stinking cute. Wouldn't this be cute?
Yes.
This is all fig tree fabric, and it's all in those great fall tones.
It's beautiful.
And I just really...
And scrappy
and
enough for
scrappy.
days.
This is all scraps left over from other projects that I've made. So I'm going to put that up here so that it can wait. This is the 5-inch version. Now this is scraps also. These are scraps from the Glorified 9 patch that I started when I did AQ Live one Wednesday. And I've got done a little, this is a grunge paper white background.
Yeah,
this
I
is
knew.
just a dot.
I have both of those, by the way.
I'm sure you do. I think we both have quite a lot of this, as a matter of fact. I've been known to call Pam and say, hey, if you go to the fabric store this weekend, can you buy me X?
Yeah.
Okay, here is the 6-inch version.
And look at how cute this is for patriotic.
This is all patriotic, all red, white, and blue. Really fun.
really like
Again, this is all scraps.
Right. Okay.
All right, so we're going to lay this one.
So 4, 5, and 6.
4,
were
5,
the
and
ones-
6.
Okay.
Now, Pam made 8, 9, and 10.
Because it is me who is making it, I had to make a Halloween version.
Of course.
Okay. And again, these were just for my straps. These are all batiks. which
I
were
love
really
those
easy.
so much.
And do you not love the
I
ghost?
love the ghost. You know, I was all ready to make a Halloween version, and I had some spider web fabric.
Oh, gosh.
And I was thinking, do I use that for the roof or for the background? But the ghosts are
The
perfect.
ghosts are fun. Okay.
Besides, I knew she'd make one, so I didn't.
So this is the 8-inch cube. This is the size cube that comes with our Ready, Set, Go.
Yes.
Okay. So now here is the 9-inch cube. And this one was really fun because these were just scraps that I had. And a lot of these, Erica, came from like remnants of charm squares. And so because that 9-inch cube is great for that. And then I did like the little blue background.
I do too. I do too. I like the darker background on it. It makes a difference.
It does. So look at the difference between
Yeah.
the light and the dark. Okay, and this one actually, the light, aside from the Halloween,
Yeah.
might actually be my favorite. Oh, don't pull the strings. Okay.
Don't
So,
unstitch.
I made a project for Taylor, my son, a couple of years ago, where I used all sorts of black and white fabrics.
Yes.
So I had a whole bunch of black and white fabrics
That
left
is
over.
fun.
And then I just thought it would be fun to just mix it with solids.
Solids. Yeah.
So think about like what you have, right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, as we said earlier, this project has so much room for your own creativity. Maybe you want to use that 4-inch cube
Right.
or the 5-inch cube, but put together rows of houses and trees with sashing strip between them to
Or,
make your table runner wider.
You know, maybe you want to put them both facing out and put sashing here.
Oh, there you go.
So you basically make 2 rows.
Right. Or
but
you,
with the same sizes.
right. Or you could make like a big house and then little
And
houses.
Little houses. You
'cause
could
they
make a
work
whole
together.
village.
Oh, please, somebody make a village.
Make a village.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to change things up. Don't be afraid to add units, to take away units, to change the size of the borders or sashing, or change up the sizes of
Right.
the houses like we just talked about. We really can't wait to see what ideas everyone dreams up.
Now, along with personalizing due to the cube size you use and your decision on including more rows or not, there is another way to customize this runner, different colorways. And it was so fun because when Eric and we just chose the cube sizes to make our blocks. We didn't talk about the
No,
fabric that
we
we're going to
didn't.
use. And it was great because she has a completely different colorways than I did.
Right.
And so just think about that. It really helps you to personalize.
That's right. Now, selecting fabric can be really intimidating to quilters, especially when they're first getting started.
Yes.
And again, we have selected this project with that thought in mind because, well, for one thing, it certainly leans towards the scrappy feel.
Right.
But you can also change it up in so many ways.
Right.
So I've decided to make mine with, shocking here, Christmas fabric. So here's a little preview
It is October.
of the house. It's time to get started on those projects in the 12-inch size with the Christmas fabric.
Okay, first of all, well done, because I do love this fabric. And Eric and we actually went together to choose our
We
fabrics.
did. We
and
did.
it was fun to have somebody else to say, kind of that works together.
how about
That's
this
not really my
one?
favorite.
Yeah.
But the thing we worried about was this background fabric, right?
If it was too much.
If it was too much, and is not, because it looks like it's snowing on your Christmas
Does.
house.
I love it. So, and I didn't use just one fabric line. I worked really hard to pick different fabrics that all spoke to me, that all went together. So here's I kind of found this for the roof.
Yeah, I like that.
And everything kind of fell and this for the background, and everything kind of went from that.
Right, and this one actually was one of my little favorites with the
This,
hot
I
chocolate and the candy
love
cane.
this one. And this one comes in other colorways too, but I wanted to pull the pink in.
Right.
Because this is kind of a pink tone in here, and there's some pinks up in here.
Right.
So, you know, you can go through them and really see what they're about. So I've got my fabric
Yes.
that this came from.
Let's look at that.
Let's take a look at that. So, and don't be intimidated. I have got way too much fabric
Oh.
because I'm
'em
making.
why.
Okay, so I'm making different versions of it, and I'm making more than one because I'm making the ones to take pictures of for the blog for you all to see.
Yeah. So I just am making one with the rest of you. Erica's going to make it like 3 times over.
I'm gonna have runners for days. So
Yes.
here's my roof fabric.
Right.
Here's my border, my
Right.
outer border fabric.
Which is right here.
And of course, when I saw the bias stripe,
Stripes,
I had to get that
right?
for the binding, right?
Okay. Oh, here, can we get this? This is the border Right. And there's the binding, stripe binding.
There's the binding. So I'm going to change mine up. You can already see this version has the background fabric for the binding, and I'm going to have a completely different one.
Right.
These are for my trees.
Look at how fun. And she has trees for trees.
Trees for trees. Trees out of trees.
That's really cute.
That's a lot of fun. And then these are for my houses.
Right. And you're going to need 9 different fabrics.
9 different fabrics. And again, scrappy works.
Yeah.
Scrappy totally works.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull this one out so we can talk about it a little later.
All right. So I'm going to give you these because this was cute. And I didn't have to make a 12-inch block because I'm making it with all of you. I know. I chose wisely.
I gave her a pass on
I do other stuff. Okay. So mine are actually mostly from the same designer and fabric company.
Right.
Okay. But from different collections, all right? And I wanted my colors to be bright and springy and ready for the spring.
She's already thinking spring. She's
already
way ahead
a
of me.
Vintage look, okay? So here is my background.
I love that.
And then here are the fabrics for my houses, which I think are really fun. And then here's the fabric for my trees. So again, look, we have the blues and the greens and the browns kind of going through the whole.
But it's all got kind of a similar feel to it.
Right, right.
You know, and
okay. And then this is my roof.
I love that
Isn't
for
that
a roof.
so fun?
Yes.
And this must be.
I think that's your ground.
Is it my ground?
I tell you what, here, this was the smartest thing when did they write yours?
Did not write it on
didn't
it.
write it on yours?
No.
She wrote it on mine.
Yeah, it's okay.
She
We'll
knew
figure
I
it out.
needed help.
I think this is the ground because it has pretty little.
Yes. And
things.
this is why I save salvage edges.
Yeah.
Look at these little bees.
Oh, yeah.
little
Here, look.
bees.
We're probably going to have to save
We're going to
one
have
from
to
there.
save it.
Look at that.
Look how cute those are.
So we'll figure it out. Because I have their different measurements, right? And so, anyway, so this is my roof and my background and my.
And again, don't be intimidated. She's got extra here.
I have extra too because we just wanted to make sure we had enough step outs to show everybody.
It's like those cooking shows, you know.
I know. We should do a cooking
We
show.
should do a cooking
Okay.
show. Who wants to see Pam and Erica do a cooking
There we
show
go.
next?
All right, are you getting inspired? Well, don't forget we have a wonderful free design tool called Go Quilt that you can use to try out different colors, fabric collections, and even your own fabrics.
That's right. And we love it so much that we want to take a few minutes before we show you how it works. So the basic row house bed runner pattern is already in Go Quilt and it's waiting for you. Take a look.
All right, so once you've decided on the colorway, it's time to pick your fabric. But we went into Go Quilt and
We just
printed.
kind of experimented with some
Right.
things. So this top one is very much like what it looks like when you go into Go Quilt. It was only partially done. I did like the house colors all in pinks. But it's going to
love
be
this.
just kind of in very basic neutral tones, and then you can go in and pick those colors. And then this is the first page, this is the second page where it shows you the colors and amounts
And then the die list.
and the die list, which of course, you know, is in the pattern as
So
well.
this is really fun also for spring. It could be for Valentine's Day.
Yes. Oh, I've got a great one for Valentine's Day coming up. So that was just kind of a generic, and I just used colors. Okay.
Yes, because you can do that.
So then I thought, well, that looks kind of like Valentine's Day or spring. So let's look at some fall
Oh,
colors.
look at this.
So here, just look at the difference that it makes when you color it differently.
Right.
You know, and when you put the color in the border versus the black border.
Right.
You know?
Right. Completely different look, same pattern.
Right. And here we've got gradiated greens, which is how the pattern's written, but
Right.
you don't have to do it that way.
No, there is no dye police.
There is no dye police. So then I thought, well, we love Tula pink fabrics, right? I
Yes.
hadn't shown Pam this one
Oh
yet.
my gosh, I haven't seen
So
these
this
yet.
is all some of the basic Tula pink fabrics, and they're all stripes and dots. And then I think I took a solid black for the
Okay.
roofs, just because with all of that pattern going on, I felt like your eye needed someplace to rest, right?
And okay, and I think it's fabulous that the different purples that are in there.
Yes.
So really a very modern look.
A very modern look. You don't have, your background doesn't have to be a blue sky.
No.
It can be purple with yellow dots on it.
Right.
And I love
And
that.
thank you to Tula Pink for making beautiful
Thank you.
fabric.
Then I thought, well, how about batiks?
Oh, yes.
So I did a batik version. So these are mostly Timeless Treasures batiks.
Okay.
And then but I looked at it then and I thought, oh gosh, my trees really aren't popping
No, they're not.
against the background, right? And this is another reason I think that we do this, is to try things out. Because you can look at it and you think it looks good, you think
Right.
you're in love, and then
Well,
not.
and you and I use Go Quilt on a regular basis.
Right.
And every time I use it, I print it out so that I can see that. So I
Right.
can go, oh, wait, I
Right.
should use a different color there.
I should use a different color. And this is
or maybe my
definitely
background is different.
pulling towards the blues, you
Right.
know, with that blue. And I do love my blues, but it just, I don't know, it wasn't popping for me.
Wasn't
So
my
then I
favorite.
thought, well, what if I change it totally?
Oh, look at that, how
and I
cute
put
that
a
is.
pink background.
Looks like Easter colors, spring
right.
colors.
So it totally, I left everything else the same and just changed the background color.
Yeah, that's great.
And that makes a total difference. Then the trees really pop against that because there's the contrast.
Right.
Okay? So contrast is something you definitely want to keep in mind when you're picking out your fabrics. Well, if a little pink is good, how about you do
Oh
a
my
lot more
gosh,
pink?
look at how cute that is.
So how cute is this? This would be a great gift for somebody for October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day would be another
We
thing.
have tiny little hearts you could applique here on the roof.
And that's another thing. Think about applique that you can add to the project later. Just keep that nugget in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Then I thought, well, what about some little
winter.
prints? And this is more wintry. These are all Riley Blake prints, just some basic prints. But with the dark, again, look at the dark background versus the light background.
different it looks.
And how different it is. You can tell I like blues and turquoises though, can't you? But here, the roofs are light.
Yep.
The background's dark. The trees are greens to
Right. And
teals.
so this one, because it looks like it has its piece out, you could just change the color of the one square.
Change that one square or switch it so that it was in the middle
There you go.
and not on the side.
There you go.
So lots of tricks, lots of things, but I definitely learned a lot before I got started by using Go Quilt.
Right. And the great thing about Go Quilt is it will save all the versions.
Yes, and you just call them different things.
And you just
can
call them
save 'em
different
all.
stuff. And
Go
yeah.
in, change them up. It's really fun.
I'm excited to see what people are going to use.
Now, we know that picking fabric can be intimidating.
It is.
It can be intimidating for you if you're a new quilter. The good news is that it gets easier the more you do it. And Go Quilt is a great way to help. But if you are getting stalled out or you're a little uneasy about picking kind of a scrappy or a planned scrappy look, here are some tips that might help you out.
Okay, my first tip is to shop your stash. Take a look at the fabric that you already have and see if there's something there to inspire you. Now, you may not have everything you need, but you may have one or two key fabrics to work from that will really help. So last week when I was making my houses, I went through my stash and through my scraps. I sent Erica a text that said somebody needs to come clean my sewing room. She did not arrive.
Sewing rooms basically
But
look
because
like
I was
they blew
going
up.
through it, I was like, oh, because these are, 9 colors that I love, and here's some other background colors and stuff.
Right.
So shop your stash.
Right, and I keep my fabrics in baskets by color, but I have things separate, like I have Christmas fabric is in a separate basket. Halloween fabric is in a separate basket.
Grunge.
No, it lives with its
Oh,
colorful
grunge
friends.
lives all by itself in my world.
Oh, it sits there and has a spotlight on it.
It does. It does. It's sacred.
Well, that is a good tip. And here is another one. Go to your local quilt shop. It's what we did. The staff there are ready, they're waiting, they know what they have in their store.
Right.
And since they know their inventory so well, it can really save you a lot of pacing around the store and looking for things, because they can really help you.
Right.
And sometimes they'll pull things, they'll think of something from clear the other side of the store and they'll
Right.
go, wait, and they'll bring you just the right fabric for your project.
Make sure you take the pattern with you.
Yes.
So you know what you're doing.
So you know what you're doing and how much you need.
Picking fabrics all from one fabric line is a great way to make sure they'll work together as well. And this, quilters, this should be a fun project.
Right.
So don't hesitate to pick up some fun fabrics. Maybe you want to match it to a certain room in your house or a season, or give it as a gift to someone special. Remember, the colors in the pattern are really suggestions. They're not really rules, okay? If you don't like brown, use something else for the bottom border.
That's right. And if you have one fabric you really love, then use that as a perfect starting point.
Right.
If it's a print, look around along the selvage edge. So I saved this one out for a reason. This is because
This is Erica's border.
because this is my border, and I save my selvage edges. But
Yes,
there's a
I know.
lot of reasons.
They're good
because
friends of Moda.
you get good information here. You get the name of the line, the designer, the fabric company.
Right.
With Moda, it gives you a stock number. So if you, heaven forbid, run out, it really helps you find more if you have that stock number.
Right.
But what's key, right over here, are these registration dots.
Right.
These represent all the colors that are in your fabric.
Yes, it took all those colors to make these pretty ones.
Right.
So the reds, but look at all the different variations of green.
All the variations of greens and the
blue.
teals and the blues. So then if you go ahead and you take, okay, here's part of the salvage that I saved from that brown dot.
Bottom border.
See, and they did this for me. They
know,
wrote it
Judy-
on the
Judy needed to
salvage
help
for
me
me
there.
so that I could remember what I was doing with things. But look, take a look at those greens and
Right.
reds.
So they're not always dots. Sometimes they're flowers or snowflakes or whatever. Mine are bumblebees on mine.
And you can see this is Riley Blake. This is Winter Wonder by Heather Peterson. And it doesn't have a registration,
No,
a
but it does
stock
give you
number,
a
but it gives you a pattern number up here. And like instead of dots, like Pam said, we've got pretty little poinsettias up here.
Right. So
cool
now
is
we can
that?
say, oh, look, here's the green that is here. Here's the blues that are here. So now you know that they're going to work together. And then
Right.
you have one more from my favorite of the collection.
Yep, and this is from the Maywood fabric. And again, you can see, okay, is this, you know, we've got blues, but I didn't have enough of this selvage on here, but
Cute with the cups.
it's really cute with the cups.
Thank you, Kimberbell.
And take a look at it. Yes, this is Kimberbell for Maywood Fabrics. And
so
this is their cup of cheer.
This is really great when you're making projects. Like, and when I print out my project, I'm going to take little snippets of that fabric so I know
Right.
what I'm going to use.
So for Go Quilt, you can take a picture of your fabrics
Yep.
and put that into your collection
Right.
and have it ready to go there.
And last but not least, think about contrast. Having a mix of light and medium and dark tones is important.
Yes.
And if you're not sure, picture of your fabric all together with your phone, then change it to black and white so you can see the tones much more clearly. So I do that quite a bit because sometimes they think, oh, this is the perfect thing.
Right.
Take a picture of it, show it in black and white, and there's not much contrast. There's a lot
Right.
of gray or a lot of dark
Right.
or whatever. So this is a really good example of contrast.
So we've got really, these are going to read as dark. This is going to read pretty dark, but it's got enough white in it, it starts to lighten the tone. We've got more medium tones here. We've got some light tones. So, and as we go, you'll get to lay them out. You can lay out your houses so they're all the same. You can lay them out so they're all different. I think I'll probably lay mine out so they're all different. But just have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's a fun project.
I think so.
We have gone over so much already today, but we don't want you to miss out on part 1 of our sew along for this Go Go Row House Runner. It's Friday, October 14th at 12 noon Central Time.
We'll be getting started with cutting and sewing some of the shapes for the runners, so you don't want to miss out.
That's right.
Plus, we have some great posts written by the lovely Erica for each section of this Sew Along series. So be sure to subscribe to the blog. It's going to give you really detailed information.
Right. Right, just like we will on the shows.
Right.
Now, along with the posts, the AccuQuilt blog is filled with so many other tips and tricks, quilting stories, inspiration, exclusive tutorials and patterns. There's so much there. Now, today's post is called Get Ready for AccuQuilt Sew Along. It's all about the AccuQuilt Sew Along essentials. And it has more details for the introduction to the Row House Runner project. As Pam mentioned earlier, it's got pictures of our fabric selections, so be sure to check it out.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, now it's definitely worth reading each of the blogs to get even more tips and tricks for the Go Row House Runner. Plus, we know you might have questions about creating the runner.
Right.
So you can find all of the answers to our top frequently asked questions in today's blog post.
Right, right. And granted, you hadn't read it yet, so we had to kind of guess what your frequently asked questions would be. So we did that. So if you have other questions, you can always go ahead, put those in the comments there, and we'll be able to get back to you with an answer there.
There we go.
All right, now, quilters, before we end this little kickoff party, we still have some things to go over. And first is that we have a special prize for a lucky viewer who registered for today's show.
We do. Our giveaways are just one way to say thank you to our viewers who registered and tuned in for the show. All right, you ready? Going to talk about what's in here?
So it is we've got a lucky winner. They're going to get what I like to call the cut and coffee mug combo. So we told you we've got some subcutting coming along. So we've got some of our new sizes of rulers.
Oh, look, it doesn't.
A rotary cutter. Yeah, it's hard to see clear things. There we go.
Our tiny little ruler.
Our tiny little ruler.
I used this just the
I
other
use
day.
this so much. And this is our 6 by 12. And do you not love this the most?
This is my new favorite size of ruler.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times I'm doing applique stuff and it just needs 6 by 12. And a rotary cutter, because you're going to do some subcutting.
And an 18 by 24 inch rotary cutting mat.
Like this green one,
like
but
this
smaller.
green one. And then a Go coffee mug.
A Go coffee mug. This is Erica's. We'll give you a clean one.
Yes.
Okay.
You'll get your own.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a lucky winner. Can I have a drum roll, please? It's Rita C. from Rogersville, Missouri. Congratulations.
You're going to love it.
You are. Now, there's one thing that we forgot to talk about. Those strip dies.
Snacks. Oh.
Well, snacks we talked about.
Oh, okay. Oh, strip dies.
So when you decide what size cube you're going to use for your project, be sure you look inside your pattern to see which strip dies we'll be using.
Right.
Because obviously borders are going to be different sizes as you go down in sizes. So for our little 4-inch, it wouldn't look quite the same if we put, you know,
that big fat
6 inches worth of border around it, right?
Right.
So that's something that you'll want to take note of and make sure you're ready. So we talked about that earlier. We hadn't gone into it. But really, seriously, we've got all the different sizes. And you know what? You may want to make more than one size because I think Pam and I are both thinking now, we're loving the 4-inch too.
And think of the tiny scraps you could use to make it.
I did. I have so many scraps. I love
That's amazing.
I love these fabric lines so much that I keep all of my scraps and I keep making more and more projects out of it. But then your scraps get smaller and smaller. Well, here's a great use for them.
There you go. All right, quilters, don't forget we have plenty of special offers available for you on our website.
That's right. To get your order in, open a new tab on your browser, type in accuquilt.com/party to see the deals and place your order.
All right, it's time for Eric and me to get ready for part 1 of this Sew Along series. And hope you're as excited as we are about starting the Go Row House Runner.
And don't forget to share your progress on this runner with us using social media with the hashtag AQSews. And we've already posted today.
Yes.
We both posted on Facebook. I posted on Instagram.
Yep.
She's more of a Facebook poster. I'm more of an Instagram poster. So you can go in on Instagram and you can search by the hashtag.
You can.
And then you can go to that page and see everybody's posts under that. I think a lot of quilters use Instagram for their kind of quilty life.
Yeah, and I'll post on mine.
Yeah.
I'll post on mine. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Since we just kicked this so long off today, we want to see what fabric you're going to be using. So take a picture of your fabric and share it with us using that hashtag AQSews.
Because we all love fabric.
We do. And I'm gonna write down, I'm gonna keep a tally of how many people who post and I have some of their fabric. Because I feel like that's a real thing.
It happens with us all the
All the time.
Well, thank you so much for joining our introduction to the Row House Runner Sew Along. We can't wait to keep working on this project with all of you.
And that's right. Remember at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time.
So you can quilt and sew more.
And I will see all of you tomorrow at 12 noon Central Time for AccuQuilt Live. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.